But I did want to say that this, I'm very excited about posting the Baba Alatunji tape, because that was quite a show. I remember it. Peter and I set up the recording gear and had a little problem with the sound, but it was, we didn't realize that till later. But it was an incredible experience. Bob, Alatunji came out with his band out to the audience, and it was just amazing. And it's just one of those lifetime things that you are excited that you could be at. But then to have the tape, I thought was just an amazing thing, and I wanted to share it with everybody. And again, it's from the Peter Hansen Memorial Tape Collection. So I'm sure he'd be psyched that people were enjoying it. So good. What is that thing on my eye? Oh my God, what's the matter with my eye? When you get a little bit older, you start looking at little bumps and things and going, what the fuck is that? But it, like, obviously it is not like doing very well here. It's got like a tracheotomy hole, just in case. Is that going to turn into cancer? You know, that's the only, game you like to play as you get older is like, what am I going to die of? You know, that's a game you start learning at about 35 years old, when you're like, gee, now I know how I'm going to die. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but sometimes you're like, yeah, that's going to give me trouble. But sometimes at the end, you're like, at the end of your life, you're like, I thought I was going to go out this way, but I'm going out this way. Oh, stomach cancer. I thought I had a heart problem. It's like, rah. All right, so this album, I'm going to be posting that. That's great stuff. This is that album there. That's like surf music. It's like Chinese, like the Ventures, but like discotheque, like dance stuff. It's really cool. I don't know, it's terrible, but that's life. That's what people say, One day you're up and the next day you're not. It's a beautiful day here in Maine. That's my lawnmower. It's just kind of sitting there right now, taking a little break, because I don't give a shit. It's just nice to have a little bit of lawn, don't cut it all the way down, like underneath my lawn is all sand, so if I just cut all my lawn down to the bone, it'll be like a beach. Not really. So sometimes I think it's funny, the YouTube feed, or the stuff that they recommend to you. I like this. I think I watched a survivalist video, so now I have, like, this guy's like, hey, this will kill you. Don't drink your own urine. That's number one rule out there if you're going to survive in the wilderness. Don't start drinking your own urine, because it's just going to bite you in the butt later on, as they say. And then I have some Japanese vinyl. That's cool. And then what else we got here? Old English community in USA. Some, entitled people going to judge other communities to be like, whatever. Or maybe not. But, like, and then we got more bearded people. Got lots of videos with the backwards hat and the beard. Okay, we get it. We're starting a new channel. It's called Too Hot for YouTube. It's going to be stuff that's... Go to bed. So, I have a mystery VHS tape. It looks like I'm going to have to run it through a scrubber. I got another VCR, an older one that I use. I should be using like all these VCRs very carefully, but this one, I run it through to see if I can get some of that mildew off. But this has like a war wound here. This is old. This is what happens to duct tape, by the way. I don't know what the fuck it's made out of. It's like you put it on your planter's wart, and it goes away. So it must be made out of something fucking cool. And it's duct tape. There's all kinds of like duct tape calendars. Well, they're not made out of duct tape, but they do make wallets out of duct tape. They don't put ducks on duct tape, because if they did, they would probably have a problem. So this is a lost videotape. I have no idea what's on it. It's got like a fragment of a label that was once prominent on that area. It looks like a Kodak because it's yellow. So, or maybe it's just a white label that got yellowed through time. That's possible. Could be either a Kodak label, when they made Kodak video tapes, which is like kind of cool. I got one over there. I got that one right there. It's a Kodak videotape, and it looks like kind of cool, the sort of yellow and red, which is classic Kodak, you know. I liked it. You know, I don't know if they were any good. A lot of these tapes, you know, like when you made videotapes, you bought what you could, you know. It was only later where you realized that they made better quality tapes. So if you had something special, like a wedding or something, you'd put that on maybe a better quality tape. But back in some of the times, like, we didn't know any better at all. We just, you know, bought whatever was at the store. You know, a lot of Fujis, like, not the band Fujis. I don't know how, that's a different spelling. Like the Apples, this is Fuji, it's a company. I don't know. But, like, is it still a company? Probably. Probably not. Probably got bought out. Anyway, so, like, so the videotapes. This movie right here, back in the day, I saw this in the theater. Now, it was a little shocking, because, like, I wasn't ready for full frontal nudity, you know, because generally you don't see that very much, and I don't think it's fair they had male jokes. But, it's a good movie. It's Burt Reynolds. He was you know, on his way out pretty much, you know, and he's just like, he didn't want to do it, and they're like, come on, do it. You'd be perfect. You're a sleazeball, you know, or your character is a sleazeball. You know, Smokey and the Bandit. What would he do after making that Coors beer run? You know, it sounds like a fucking trip to the Hannaford. You know, like, can you get me some Coors? That's a whole plot of Smokey and the Bandit right there. They had to get Coors beer, like, which is shitty beer anyway, and the guy's a Nazi. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I'm not going to go across country to fucking try to, like, bring a case back for these fucking 400 cases. Well, how much? Okay, that for that much? Sure, maybe I'd do that. You know, of the master tape. Oh, there it is again. What the fuck? I don't know. This is like, what is this? Like, this is a fancy one. I love this, you know, movie. This is like the Criterion Collection, which is like, oh, the Criterion Collection. Oh, it's too bad they don't make Playboy magazine anymore, because that's like the Criterion Collection kind of the vibe, you know, for movie snobs. Movie snobs. Am I a movie snob? Well, I do like movies. Sure. Am I a snob? I don't know. What's a snob? I mean, that's a strange word, isn't it? Snob. I'm sure I have watched a lot of documentary films. Documentary. It's hard to say that word. Okay, like, I don't know why, but for some reason I want to go documentarian. Aquarium, you know, like the documentarian's aquarium. That's a name of a shoe store in some fancy neighborhood. And I was like, oh, how whimsical. But anyway, like, I've seen a lot of documentaries, man, you know, and it's like, I've seen them come and go, man. And, like, this Monterey Pop Festival documentary, man, is, like, really good. But I noticed, like, the camera work on some of this, because, like, I do some camera work, you know, like, I try to. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm a cameraman, because you can't say that, because, like, literally it's a gender specific. So, a camera person, which is very wordy, you know. So, like, visual artists, I don't know, what do you say? You know, like a brilliant three-dimensional painter of, you know, images or something, I don't know. But, like, so these documentaries, the rock documentaries, okay? I'm going to say that the average camera person might have been, I don't know, a guy, a college kid or something, maybe going to film school or something. I don't know. Or maybe there were women and other people involved. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of shots of, like, pretty young girls. Like, that's all I'm saying is, like the footage that they use, or they you know, and that's also an editing thing, you know, like, hey, get a close-up on this one. You know, it's just, like, seems a little creepy now. And I know it was the 60s and there was a lot of, like, sexual liberation talk and feelings and things like that, but a lot of that talk and feelings and whatever got a little pushy and got a little one way and a little bit handsy, you know. He gets a little handsy on, well, it's a revolution, dear, you know. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. But people took a long time to figure that out, that there was, like, liberation in the 60s, but then there was, like, this sort of old habits kind of, like, rearing their ugly heads, like this male fucking fucking, the toxic male kind of thing, even a hippie dudes, were like, there was a lot of things that were still really backwards. The communes were, basically still, divided up into the guys hang out and smoke dope all day and the women do all the work, and then the guy builds a fucking, a shelter and he's like, oh, I fucking built the shelter, drinking beer, and like now he thinks that the woman's gonna do, all the work. That's like a common problem that happened in some of the communes at some point, maybe, or maybe not. I'm just speculating, I like to speculate. And that's one of my spectacular speculation moments right there. This Monterey, and people can argue about what's a hippie. Hippie is like, well, it comes from the jazz, hep cat thing. And, sort of a subculture, and then the beatniks and the, the poets and things like that. And that sort of turned into what, maybe people think of Greenwich Village and, the folk scene, and you got the Kingston Trio. And then, of course, a lot of people thought Bob Dylan was kind of like a carpetbagger. And, so you had like this thing where the folk singers had like this, thing about Bob Dylan, that this new kid coming up on the block who's like nobody heard of, and like he like tells a lot of stories. Where are you, Bob Dylan? Where the fuck are you? It's like billiards, like they have like a billiard room. Like if you go to someone's house and they have a pool table, I'm like, boy, what a dick. You got a pool table, fuck you. But then if they have like a billiards table, you're like, you know what? Even more, fuck you. I have a billiards table? Really? If I had a billiards table, I would call it a pool table and be like, yeah, I have a pool table, and then they come in and like, oh, look at this beautiful billiards table. Be like, oh, I just call it a pool table because, I don't like to tell people I have a fucking huge billiard table. Like, what is a billiard table? And, like, do they make billiard tables now? Oh, of course they do. Now I'm going to get ads for billiard tables on my Facebook. Isn't the pool where you swim? So like why, I can see in the beginning people get confused and like, I'm going to go play some pool. Okay, well, don't drown. Like that's what I would think, So wonder why those two things are called the same. Like when you pool your money, you're like making a pool, but like pool, what do you pool you pool the balls. Okay, pool the balls. That sounds a little bit like something I shouldn't be saying. But pool the balls like in a triangular shape. Triangular shape. I like that little thing you put on the table. It's like slam, and to put the balls in there. It's like, pool is a very noisy game to me. I don't like it. I mean, I played it and I'm like, oh, you want me to hit the ball with a stick? Like, okay, well, that's like baseball. Why don't I just like grab a baseball bat and hit all the fucking pool balls? Because that's what you want to do. You want to just pick up a pool ball with a baseball bat, maybe pool ball with like an aluminum baseball bat. Wow, don't do it, kids. Just kidding. Use like a Nerf ball and a tennis ball. When the rubber meets the road. That's another story. It's called When the Rubber Meets the Road. So Monterey Pop was, I just felt like some of these camera guys, like the shots that they took, like the Jimi Hendrix footage too, initially from Berkeley. I think they tried to clean up some of the footage or whatever. It's like this camera person was like trying to make all these like artistic motions at the camera there. And, you really really shouldn't do that. You should do it in post, really. And back then they could do some things, but if you wanted a special effect, leave it to the editor people. They do that best. You just capture the images and they'll put all their magic. That's where the magic happens, son. So we don't need you to be particularly concerned about the artistic merits of the shot. We just need you to take the shot. Just give everyone the raw footage, so it's like gives you a better picture of the entire situation, because editing choices could definitely color how you feel about something. When you have the raw footage, you get to see like maybe there's some frustration with a camera person or whatever. You get to see emotion a little bit better, whereas in editing process you kind of filter out emotion that you don't want to particularly see, but would actually take away from the story. If you leave all that stuff in there, then people could get a sense of what you know, what it was like there. You could almost picture yourself there, rather than have this storybook kind of version of an event. And that's what I think a documentary filmmaker should do, is try to like present it as that way. But you have to clean it up, you know. You have to like have a balance between editing and like keeping it real. One of my favorite things to do is really to look at small YouTubers like myself. You know, I'm small. Well, I'm not small, but I kind of like what are you gonna do? So like I'm not like a corporate sellout, or I'm not a sellout, but like, you know, I just want to make, I do want to make money somehow, but like I don't want to make it on just like, you know, clicks or something. I want to actually do something. I want to tap dance, really. That's what I'm looking for, is tap dancing. I want to tap dance for clicks, really. It'd be kind of funny. Clicks for clicks, I'm going to call it. But anyway, like I enjoy watching these videos of people who are just doing what they're doing like I am, which is like rambling. But this guy, I just flipped this one on, all right? And I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for just playing flashes of things, you know. But this guy's kind of funny. It's like, this is how the video starts off. Like, it's really cool. Check it out.
According to some people, this is all fake. According to some people, I'm an actor reading from a script. Some people even say that I'm in a studio, this is a green screen. They are claiming that I have this beard so that I can play a certain persona.
Oh, back up, go forwards, back up, go forwards, back up, go forwards. Anyway, so this guy here, like, is, I don't know what this video is. This could be like a video about Bigfoot, you know, because I like to watch videos about Bigfoot. I'm fascinated by Bigfoot, you know, like, the stories are just pretty compelling. You know, I've had paranormal experiences myself. So, like, do I sympathize or empathize with people that are trying to tell a story that nobody believes? Yes, I do. But also, like, I'm fascinated with the lore, the historic context with like other stories that go back a long time about these creatures, you know, and like the sort of nonsense that people are talking about giants, you know. I think the whole idea of the giants, and all these pictures are fake, of like, oh, we found giants back in the day and we covered it up with dirt, you know.
And in this video, I want to talk about...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you had me, then you lost me. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Everything's got to be a conspiracy theory now, right? Just like, you know, I don't know. There's no... not everything's a conspiracy. Not everything is like, you know... a simulation, you know. It's like everyone's like, oh, this is all fake, it's a simulation. Well, you know, it's not right now. I mean, so go along with it until we have some further, you know, information. And if we don't, then it's not a simulation, okay? Because a simulation wouldn't be this fucking ridiculous, to be honest with you. Like, everyone's like, oh, this world is fake. Well, it's a fake world. Who made it up? Because somebody who is obviously not like, you know, a very good writer is having us go through this scenario, which is ridiculous. So it's not a simulation as far as I can tell, unless there's a really bad, like I said, like a really bad writer. And when you have religion in there, you have an out. You have, like, I can be a bad person. I could be a very bad person, but all I have to do is just, like, get a do-over, you know, from the church of my choice. And I don't think that's you know, that's not a good thing, you know. Just remain a good person the whole time. Try to be a good person. Don't be a dick. That should be like my religion, is the don't be a dick thing. Don't trust anybody under 40. Don't trust anybody under 30. Don't trust anybody under 1. I don't trust babies. I don't trust babies. No, I love babies. I love my kid. My kid was a baby once, you know, and I was a baby once. I love myself. So, you know, I was cute. I was like, hey, I'm the cute baby. Hey, you know, I pick myself up every day and, you know, brush myself off and just try to continue to do what it takes to, like, you know, make it in the world, which is a very strange definition of making it, you know. I mean, some people have a definition of making it as being, like, very well off financially, you know, but, like, there's more definitions, right? And it's not just that. I mean, like, who's got the most toys wins or something, and, like, that's the fucking story. So we're going to go with that now. We had, like, warnings about that. Going back to, I don't know, the person who like runs into the wall continually, like he's smashing his head, smashing his head, smashing his head, her head, smashing their head, smashing her head, smashing his head. Where did that start? I think it started with a fast food restaurant, Double Down, you know, and that sort of, now it's a thing. I think it was when Kentucky Fried Chicken put like a piece of chicken on a hot dog with like turkey and then, you know, a turducken, you know, that's like, the turducken was a big thing for, I was like, what the fuck? You're stuffing like 4 animals inside each other? That's a little kinky. I don't know. And like, there's just like, that's like, ugh, gross. I don't know. I thought it was gross, the turducken. I didn't eat it. I didn't have one. I don't know. Those are probably pretty expensive, you know. Oh, turducken on the menu today. And all the restaurants had to like comply with this fucking pop idea, the pop food thing. And I don't know much about food. I'm not a foodie. I eat food, you know, but I'm like not a fan. Sometimes I forget to eat food. That's how much I don't give a fuck about food. But you have to like be careful when you're a diabetic about food, because if you like think to yourself that, oh, I'm a little scared to eat a lot of sugar because of the diabetes, so then you don't eat at all, that's also a problem. You know, Wilford Brimley would have told you that if he had lived, but unfortunately he died of diabetes. Diabetes. I had to die. We know that joke. Okay. He ate a lot of oats. He was a horse, actually. Wilford Brimley was a horse. You know, that's a little known fact. But when he was in the movie Cocoon, which you can't find, by the way, that movie is out of print. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you should talk to the studio. But anyway, he was in that movie. He was about 43 years old, I think it was, when he was in that movie. And he looked like he was always like 60, 65, you know. And then he was in a TV show, wasn't he? Wilford Brimley. He had that mustache, but he was like 43 years old, you know, and you were thinking like, I'm Wilford Brimley, I'm 67 years old. You know, no, he was 43. I'm Wilford Brimley, I'm 43 years old. Yeah, I had a bicycle. Yeah, I mean, so like, you just think of people as a certain age, you know, like you think of folks like a rock star, you know, you think of them always as at a certain age, you know, like Billy Squier, you know, and like then you find out he's 74 years old and you're like, wow, 74. I thought he was like 20, you know, because you think of these people in their prime. They have, you know, an archive of what they look like, you know, through time, and then they stop making public appearances because they get to a certain point where you don't recognize them as being the same person as their image. And then it's like you become an imposter. You know, it's like unless you try to keep up that appearance, like Mick Jagger looks, you know, or really looks like I don't know, it looks a little weird now. It looks like Grammys trying wigs on or something. But like, he had an appearance that he was trying to keep the whole time. Keith Richards is like, okay, you look like a gypsy pirate on drugs or something, and that was like, okay, I'm gonna stay with that look. There was a musician named Rory Gallagher, one of my favorite, or Gallagher, I don't know, they pronounce it different ways. Not the guy with the watermelons. It's Rory Gallagher. Anyway, so he wore basically street clothes his entire career. I think at the end he was wearing long black leather jackets in the 90s, but like for the most part he just wore jeans, a flannel or a shirt, you know, like a cowboy type shirt, and like a jean jacket, you know, and that was it, because it was all about the music for him, and he just wanted to have like a very cool, laid back street clothes look to him, and it worked. He looked the same pretty much from 1970 till he died in the 90s, which is very hard to say for some of these other musicians. But I wanted to mention that the first white rapper was Pigpen from the Grateful Dead, and that's my argument for today, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.